today's top boxing news.
I mean, why did you get into boxing? Because I like bashing, I like fighting, I like punching people in the head. Yeah. That's why. Not because I started boxercise and I thought this is fun. It's because I want to hurt people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like fighting. Like, I'm obsessed. You know how obsessed I know. Yeah, look at my house. I got all these boxing magazines. I'm obsessed with boxing. It's all I do is watch boxing. I'm a boxing Bible. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I just fight and I don't know about it. Like, I'm a student of the game. Do you know? And yeah, I don't know. I just got to a point. I think after a couple of months of meetings that went nowhere, empty promises and just bullshit. I just thought, you know what, I'm not doing what I've done for the last 2 years. Remember, last year I was out for a whole 12 months. The year before I was out for like 9, 10 months. Being ready in camp, constantly ready, dieting, put my life on hold, not traveling, not doing this because I'm getting promised, oh, you get a fight in September. Yeah, you have a fight in June, then you have a fight in summer. Oh no, now it's fucking autumn and actually now December. I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm sick of begging. Like, of course I want to fight, but it gets to a point where you're like, just you know what, like... Obviously, I'm not the only girl that can't get a fight. Michaela May and Jonas, you saw that recently. Yeah. They want to fight. They can't get the fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, old mate Shannon Courtney, I'm pretty sure she wants to fight, you know. But she, you know, Maya, like I said, I was talking to Maya. We all want to fight. We all want to fight. Like, you think us girls, when it's our income, yes, I'm lucky I got OnlyFans, but still, I'm not, forget me, I'm blessed, thank God, I have fans that support me, but Maya, single mum, 8 months out of the ring. You know what I mean? And other girls that aren't making money, that's their income, and you're putting them on ice. Like, it's a good tournament, and I'm not on it, and it's a bit sad, but I'll support it because I support women's boxing. I support it, and I'll go, you know what? That's a fucking great idea. Show that I'm not in it. A bit sad. Heard it might be in Australia, even weirder, but whatever. Like, I'm supportive of it, and I'm glad that it's happening. I'm glad the girls are getting fights. You know, like Maya, you know, I like Shanika, and Dinah Thorsen's a machine. Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be a great tournament, you know, and I'm looking forward to being there ringside. You might do the card girling for it.
I saw a fellow content creator react to Ebanie Bridges' recent interview with IFL. Quentin D. Lilly stated, "Let's call this what it is. Ebanie had a god-awful performance and lost her title to a low-profile fighter and still expects to be paid similar money to when she was a champion. Boxing doesn't work that way. You have to take the smaller money to get back to the top." Is that the situation? Is that what's going on?
She herself said that they had meetings that went nowhere.
A very vague description of what's been going on for the last 8 months, and in the last 8 months, it's not like Miyo Yoshida has been fighting, so the window of opportunity to do a rematch was there. Did Matchroom try to do one, but Ebanie didn't like the money? Since their initial meeting late last year, it's not like Miyo has been under orders to satisfy her mandatory challenger, Shurita Metcalf, so...
What's the holdup?
Said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not completely sure what this is, but if what this is holding out for more money and losing this amount of time while you do it, that's not a win.
If that's what this is.
And then she says she's not going to be participating in the 8-woman tournament that Lou DiBella is trying to put together. Why is she not fighting in that?
She's not fighting. She's not fighting at all.
So when the only offer on the table, the only money, I should say, is money that maybe you don't like and maybe you want more, but that's all that's there. Inactivity is not an alternative. It's not a win. It's not a win of any kind. All it is time squandered, time lost that you won't get back.
We are 8 months into this year. Most of this year is gone.
Ebanie Bridges looks set to sit out all of this year. Only 4 months remain, and it doesn't sound like she's got a fight lined up.
So is it the way that Quentin says it is? That what this really is Ebanie wants more money, and they're not trying to give it to her because she lost her belt.
The other girls at Matchroom, they are fighting. Sandy Ryan fought earlier this year. Shannon Ryan fought earlier this year. Ramla Ali. Stephanie Pinedo made her Matchroom debut.
Katie Taylor fought Chantel Cameron for a second time.
Maisie Rose fought. She fought. Rhiannon Dixon won a WBO title, and now she's set to defend it against Terry Harper. So, I mean, fights are happening.
I don't think it's that Matchroom is pulling away from getting their female fighters fights. That doesn't seem to be the case. Their female fighters are fighting, and yet Ebanie Bridges...
She's been out for the last 8 months. It just feels like maybe what she's doing is sticking to her guns and not taking what's on the table, but what else is on the table? What's the alternative? not fighting at all.
Nothing is not an adequate substitute for something.
In the time it's taking her to return to action, she could have had a fight already, then got a bigger one afterwards. But this is just a waste of time.
It didn't have to be the Miyo Yoshida rematch. It could have been a simple little keep busy fight, a rebound fight, and I don't know, maybe you do a rematch with Shannon.
Something.
Looks like Ebony Bridges may sit out all of this year. All of it.
And I don't see the upside in it. I don't see the silver lining. All that is time lost that you won't get back. That's all it is. In men's featherweight news, Nick Ball's special journey and how he's staying grounded now that he's a reigning champion, one of 4 in the featherweight division. For the modern brand of boxing content provider, a third party sending across an invitation to join a Zoom call with Nick Ball may be an insignificant event, which gets quickly slotted into the daily schedule. For those who saw the 27-year-old Liverpudlian turn professional and have followed his career from the very start, it is a notable indication of just how far he has progressed. The WBA featherweight champion hasn't suddenly gone big time. He is as easy to reach on the phone as ever. But over the past 6 months, the fighter, who turned professional anonymously at the Fuse nightclub in Liverpool 7 years ago, has become a staple. And it is a far cry from his early days on the small hall circuit when Ball would show up for a low-key press conference and sit quietly at the long trestle table waiting for a microphone to be passed down the line. We've come a long way since then, fighting in sports centers, haven't we? Ball told Boxing Scene. From starting literally at the bottom and working my way up the hard way, it's the only way, and it's something special. It just makes you who you are today, and it makes it all the more worth it, to be honest. It makes it feel all the more better. You've done it from the bottom and gone all the way up. You've done it in the sports centers and in the nightclubs. You've been out selling tickets and seeing people.
What do you think about Nick Ball?
I think he's a fun fighter to watch, a pressure fighter with a fan-friendly style that's easy to digest and enjoy. He hasn't had it easy. His first crack at the apple came against Ray Vargas, and he came up short, and he got a second crack at the apple with Ray
Savage.
Raymond Ford, in what was an evenly fought and entertaining matchup. I think Nick Ball has earned his stripes, and I feel like Nick Ball, because he's from Liverpool, he has the most potential to become a draw in his own neck of the woods. That's what I think.
More than the other 3 champions at the weight, Rafael Espinoza, Luis Lopez, Ray Vargas, Nick has more potential to become a draw where he's from than they do where they're from.
It's all part of the journey, and when you're at the top, those times are special. You don't forget the people who would come to support you in those moments at the start, and then bringing them to the top with me as a team. Lots of sportsmen will tell you that their favorite days were those when they could compete for fun and for the love of the sport, long before the pressures of earning a living turned their hobby into a job. World champions regularly talk about their days fighting in working men's clubs or on minibus journeys around the country with old amateur teammates, and do so with much more fondness.
Good times.
Ball's trainer, Paul Stevenson, has always fostered a team atmosphere at his Everton Red Triangle gym, and Ball has shared car rides and dressing rooms with his gym mates. Since his days spent fighting in sports centers and nightclubs, Ball has patiently waited his turn to have his hands wrapped and warmed up in a communal dressing room while his friend fights, anxiously waiting for them to return with a new battle to share.
A new battle tale.
The fighters from ERT have risen together. The venues may be grander and the stakes may be higher this year, but Ball remains one of the team. Earlier in July, he was in London supporting Andrew Kane. While Kane won the British and Commonwealth European bantamweight titles, in August, the team will be in Manchester for Joe McGrail's next fight.
Oh, doesn't that just give you a chubby?
It's nice to hear about success stories. Gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, but make no mistake, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows for Nick Ball moving forward. He has the misfortune of campaigning in a very deep division, a very deep weight class, with many, many dangerous fighters. He's a dangerous fighter, but so are his contemporaries, his fellow champions, Luis Lopez,
Rafael Espinoza, Ray Vargas, who he's fought before.
Now, I heard something from Team Ball mention that they would like to fight Naoya Inoue if and when he moves up in weight, but therein lies a dilemma. Inouye's not about to do that, and by all accounts, it looks like he's going to stay at 122. So what is Nick about to do at 126? Accomplishing his dreams alongside his friends and teammates has made Ball's success all the more memorable. I was just smiling when you said that, he said. It was a special night on Saturday when Kane became the British Commonwealth champion. It is something special. You don't get to take it in because you're in the gym focusing every day, but when you think back, it really is special. You've got to stay listening, always. You have to remember where you started and where you came from, and just stay focused with the same people around you.
Good advice.
Don't get ahead of yourself and get too big for your boots. I'm not the type to do that. It never stops, and it's never gonna stop. With the work that we're doing with Paul and Ant, the only way is up. Andrew just won at the weekend. Joe McGrail is up next. Peter McGrail's up soon. We've got Brad Strand, Bomba Brown, Lucas Botswana is going to be making his debut soon, and he's one to look out for too. The gym is on the rise, and we're not stopping. We're coming for it all.
My thoughts.
Frank Warren has got a winner in Nick Ball in more ways than one. And given that he just fought two reigning champions back-to-back in Ray Vargas and Ray Savage, I think he's earned a lighter touch. I think he's earned a homecoming fight.
That's saying that as a consumer, I don't feel the need to put any pressure on him just yet to unify, because look at who he's been fighting.
It's not like he's been on easy street all this time. He hasn't. So maybe in his next fight, he makes a maiden defense of his newly obtained WBA title in front of the Liverpool fans. Then after that, you see about either getting a Ray Vargas rematch,
Or maybe the winner of Luis Lopez versus Angelo Leo.
that's set to go down next weekend. Maybe you fight Rafael Espinoza, and it's not one way. Those guys need to pull their own weight too, because there are 4 reigning champions in this division, and there's no excuse for them not to fight each other, not to unify. They can't stand online, single file, waiting for a naturally smaller fighter in Inui to move up in weight before they do anything. He's not about to move up in weight. He's staying at 122. So what you need to do is take out the competition.
And that applies to them just as much as it applies to Nick.
These are very big featherweights. Ray Vargas, Rafael Espinoza, even Luis Lopez, who's a moderately sized featherweight. Even he's a bigger guy than Nick.
Nick's got his work cut out for him.
So I don't get the sense that staying WBA champion at featherweight is going to be easy for Nick Ball, who's a noticeably small featherweight. He's on the much smaller end of the spectrum, even if he's very strong.
These guys are very big.
But he's a hell of a fighter, Nick Ball, and I won't take that away from him. He hasn't had it easy, but it is starting to pay off. In men's lightweight news, a welcome bit of intel. Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda verbally agree on a matchup. This news comes to us on the heels of some inaccurate intel, some inaccurate news that was circulating earlier today, that Shakur and Gervonta Davis were on the eve of finalizing a fight between them. Since then, both fighters have come out and said that's false.
I figured as much, and that's why I didn't react to it.
Whereas this news about Shakur and Williams seems to have more substance. Shakur Stevenson's team grew tired of waiting for an offer from Gervonta Davis, so it is moving towards a fight that may be even more entertaining. 3-division and WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson has verbally agreed the next fight, the lightweight division's consensus #1 contender, Mexico's William Zepeda. And Zepeda has also tentatively agreed, according to a boxing official connected to the deal, who is unauthorized to speak publicly on the matter because financial and other terms have yet to be finalized. At this hour, the most likely date and venue for the bout is October 12th, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On the undercard of the undisputed light heavyweight title fight between the 2 remaining champions at that weight are Tor Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. If this news checks out, and this fight lands on that show, then it's already shaping up to be one hell of a show.
Let's hope they get it over the line.
Zepeda's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, and Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh hinted at the bout in a social media post released on Sunday. Although De La Hoya previously discussed signing 2016 U.S. Olympian silver medalist Stevenson following the July 6th expiration of the fighter's contract with Top Rank, Stevenson will not sign to De La Hoya's Golden Boy, according to an official connected to Stevenson. Forcing such an agreement would be a violation of the Muhammad Ali Act, which stipulates such arrangements are coercive in nature. Stevenson was hopeful his free agency would sway fellow 3-division champion
Gervonta is not a 3-division champion.
Gervonta Davis to strike a deal, and a report of such a union filtered out on social media Tuesday. But Stevenson, co-manager Josh Dubin, told Boxing Scene that after Stevenson's other co-manager James Prince was asked by a Premier Boxing Champions official If Stevenson was interested in fighting Davis and was told yes, a promise return phone call to negotiate never happened. Dubin says they are now 1 week past the promised date of contact. Thus, Stevenson has turned to Zepeda, who is coming off a third-round knockout of Giovanni Cabrera July 6th in Ontario, California. The 28-year-old power-punching left-hander Zepeda is expected to give the defensively brilliant Stevenson a rugged test. While Stevenson's superb hand and foot quickness will likely challenge Zepeda like no other opponent he has met yet. Should the bout become a reality, DAZN will stream the October 12th Saudi Arabia card.
No involvement from ESPN Plus. No involvement from Top Rank.
I wouldn't rule that out. There's still time. How the Saudis have been doing it, they've been distributing their shows across every major platform, so it's conceivable that between now and October, we might hear news that ESPN will also be distributing the pay-per-view, so I wouldn't rule that out.
But Gervonta Davis left Shakur high and dry.
That's what the story is, and that's how we got here, so I'm not surprised, because I never had any faith, any belief, that this would be Gervonta Davis's next fight. When you hear Calvin Ford talk about it, you can tell he's not crazy about that fight.
He doesn't really want it.
That fight, stylistically, favors Shakur Stevenson, whereas this fight, stylistically, favors William Zepeda.
Styles make fights.
For the economic outside fighter, the pure boxer, the pressure fighter, the volume puncher, the aggressive one, is a nightmare. Usually, that's how that stylistic matchup plays out. So this is either an opportunity for Shakur to show that he's not your average pure boxer, that he can overcome that stylistic disadvantage, or it's an opportunity for William to show he'll be a victim to it.
Shakur's gonna go out how a lot of pure boxers have gone out against pressure fighters.
The fight won't be boring. The fight won't be like Shakur Stevenson's last two fights, because if nothing else, you know William is going to push the envelope. William is going to push the pace, and it'll be up to Shakur to respond. If he doesn't the right way, he loses.
You don't have Top Rank behind you on this one.
The added protection of a major promotional outfit that behind the scenes could pull the strings to ensure you stay an unbeaten fighter, yet you don't have that now. If this fight happens,
it's all on you, and you're on your own.
So these are very exciting times in the sport, and let's hope that they can get a deal done.